Just interesting, okay? Sharing on my The meeting is being live streamed. Got it. Now I have to cancel that window. Am I good? Hi, hello. Did you know that I am in the process of receiving my certification as a sexuality educator with the American Association of Sexuality Educators, Counselors, and Therapists? That's a lot of words. ASECT. ASECT is aligned with the American Psychological Association, AMA. Eventually, soon, hopefully, I will be able to provide you with continuing ed if you're a clinician soon. Looking for a sponsor. Anyway, I thought, well, I think I know what sexual health is. I think I know what sex positivity is. But let's see what other people have to say, because who am I? And because this is interesting. The World Health Organization. Okay, hold on. Let's do this. What is sexual health? Hi, Darla. Huh? Well, hello. According to the CDC, so I'm on the Centers for Disease Control. What they say is that the World Health Organization defines sexual health as a state of physical, emotional, mental, and social well-being in relation to sexuality. It is not the absence of disease, dysfunction, or infirmity. Sexual health requires a positive and respectful approach, which my kitty cat Darla doesn't have right now. Darla, go away. You're so cute. Yes. Sexual health requires a positive and respectful approach to sexuality and sexual relationships, as well as the possibility of having pleasurable and safe sexual experiences free of coercion. I got distracted by Darla eating. Free of coercion. Oh, that's it. Discrimination and violence. That's it. So this is what the CDC says about sexual health. They are quoting the World Health Organization. When I look at, here we go. What do you want? She's so needy right now. Sexual health, publications and reports. Oh, no. Okay, so I want to go to the Harvey Institute. I learned about the Harvey Institute from Dr. Jess, who is one of the instructors that I've taken coursework with for this certification. And this is a really interesting 6-point framework that they have. Oh, and then we'll look at APA and hold on. APA, sexual health. How about, okay. Harvey Institute is an organization dedicated to helping individuals integrate sexual health principles and practices to improve personal well-being. Isn't it interesting how, like, just so far, these sexual health statements aren't really about like have all the good sex. It's like feel good and be safe. Okay, so here are the Harvey Institute's sexual principles, the sexual health principles as they share it. Sexual health. The 6 principles of sexual health. Women and men rarely ask their family therapists to help them improve their sexual health. More than likely, people are concerned about their behavior, satisfaction, or lack of pleasure. Couples will often seek sex therapy to address conflicts about frequency, desire, arousal, even the fallout after an affair. Sometimes they come to therapy to work things out. And this, again, the Harvey Institute invokes the current working definition from the World Health World Health Organization. So here are the 6 principles that the Harvey Institute presents. Consent. Number 1, consent. Sexual health requires consent. It's the most universal sex health principle on the planet. Consent means voluntary cooperation and communicates permission to try and reach satisfaction and intimacy with willing partners. While the age of consent varies by country and in the US varies by state, lack of consent forces adults and children into experiences that are not desired or wanted. I'm looking at you, SCOTUS. I'm looking at you. Anyway, consent transforms the act of sex from an invasion to transformation. How wonderful is that? Number 1. Number 2, principle for sexual health, non-exploitative. So exploitation is when a person leverages their power and control to receive gratification. The brutality of exploitation compromises a person's ability to consent to sex. This is trafficking. This is abuse. This is also coercion. Exploitative sex is ruthless and intensive to the feelings of the partner and family members. It encompasses unwanted, harsh, or cruel domination, unwanted domination. So for those of us who enjoy it within the context of consent, that's not what these people are saying. They're saying it's unwanted. Money, drugs, clothing, shelter, love, often situations in which a person will gain coercion or use coercion to gain access to sex. So the first 2 principles, consent, non-exploitative. Third principle, honesty. Sexual health requires open and direct communication with oneself and every sexual partner. Honesty with oneself involves being open to pleasure, experience, education. Without honesty, relationships will not be able to have effective communication or be able to uphold any of these principles. Honesty encompasses these health conversations about gender and or sexual relationship diversity. Each person has the responsibility to determine their own standards of honesty about sex and sexuality as it relates to their partners, and then they provide a conversation tip. When you're surprised by a sudden question about a sexual matter from a child or teen, you can give yourself a few extra seconds to compose by taking a deep breath and asking and thanking them for their honesty about asking a question. It also kind of helps to reduce shame to speak that way. Number 4, so we had consent, non-exploitative, honesty. Number 4, shared values. This is funny. Okay. The day after a dolphin has sex, they don't spend the next day talking with their fellow dolphins about whether it was too soon. Humans do. Children, teens, and adults of all ages think about their values and how they relate to experimenting with activity, relationships, or facing gender and sexual relationship diversity. Too often, the caring adult's comfort or discomfort is valued over the child or adolescent asking questions or having needs. One of the most universal areas of sexual value conflict is in the sexual debut, also called losing your V card. There is no universal cultural agreement about the circumstances upon which a person should first experience intercourse. Throughout the lifespan, blah, blah, sexual play and values might change, turn-ons might change. So understanding, doing some self-reflection. So we had consent, honesty, shared non-exploitative, shared values. Next, protected. Protection from STI, HIV, and unwanted pregnancy. I'm telling you, there is nothing affirming about sexual health within the context of the United States right now because of the overturning of Roe v. Wade. Protectin. Okay, so sexual health principle addresses the need for anyone engaged in activity to implement a contraception plan, prevent acquiring infection or becoming pregnant, access to tests that identify the presence of an infection, and proper medical attention to address any of this. Scientific and medically accurate information, data regarding how to prevent pregnancy requires access to a range of contraception. Access, education, information, liberation, my friends. This goes on to talk about HIV, but they also less than 20 states in the US, less than 20 United States require that sex ed be provided by federal and state funding is medically accurate. Only fewer than 20 states. So good. Okay. And then the last one is pleasure. Pleasure is a primary motivation for solo activity, and then the giving and receiving of partners. What gives pleasure could be a source of conflict with other aspects, but it's a primary motivation for this kind of engagement. And then they talk about adolescents. Adolescents interested in experiencing their bodies, either alone or with other people. Challenge can be challenging for adults, so engaging in the conversation with accurate data. And of course, that is age appropriate. That's the Harvey Institute. What does the American Psychological Association have to say? This is a, oh, I'm not looking at that DVD. They should have just a statement. Sex therapy. Resolution on Sexuality Education from the American Psychological Association. This looks like it was 1996. That's too much. I thought that I had something from the APA. Affirmative responses to attraction, conversion therapy, harassment. Okay. Well, I guess I have a little bit of homework there. Here's ASECT, the American Association of Sexuality Educators, Counselors, and Therapists. This is the organization that I am in the process of certification with, and this is what ASECT has to say about sexual health. ASECT affirms the it might have been puff puff stream. Give me a moment. ASECT affirms, oh, the computer just did something. It said, oh, no, you can't see it. Here we go. I don't care about that. Oh, nice. My account is going to smart. Okay, vision of sexual health. ASECT affirms the fundamental value of sexuality as an inherent, essential, and beneficial dimension of being human. ASECT accepts as its mission the advancement of the highest standards of professional practice for educators, counselors, and therapists. In general, ASECT opposes psychological, cultural, social, legislative, and government forces that would restrict, curtail, or interfere with the fundamental values of sexual health and sexual freedom that ASECT espouses. They also oppose abuses, including but not limited to harassment, intimidation, coercion, prejudice, and the infringement upon rights. So here's what the sexual health and sexual freedom. There are 4 bullet points here that are, I think we could call them core values. I'm speaking to ethics. That individuals are entitled to enjoy freedom of sexual thoughts, fantasies, and feelings. Freedom to engage in healthy modes of activity, including self-pleasure and shared pleasure. Freedom to exercise behavioral, emotional, economic, and social responsibility for body functioning, sexual liaisons, and the chosen method of loving. Number 4, AASECT believes that those rights pertain to people regardless of age, economic status, background, belief, anything. So we all, according to the American Association of Sexuality Educators, Counselors, and Therapists, all need to have freedom. It's about liberation, sexual variability, and rights. AASECT recognizes the majority of varieties of sexuality. The many varieties, including orientations, gender, physical differences, erotic preferences, and lifestyle. So I've only been like in the AASECT realm, I don't know, 2017. And then I was just kind of like in and out, and then my mother died and like all that shit happened. So it's been a fun few years, but I remember when I first heard about AASECT thinking, oh, cool, there's an organization that's aligned with these medical folks so that and then the people that AASECT brings in to teach are, of course, all like doctors and researchers. It's pretty interesting. Soon they will bring me in. They don't know it yet, but I just told you AASECT. As part of my certification, when I received my certification, there's going to be this, oh, maybe we should do experiential learning. And we'll just have Catherine come in and help us learn how to facilitate. Sexual rights of individuals with special needs. AASECT recognizes that the right to pursue a happy and healthy sexual life applies to all individuals, not just those who conform to body types, conditions, or mental status. AASECT believes that individuals with special needs, it would be so nice if you would just say disabled people. Just so you know, AASECT, disabled, disability, not a dirty word. In fact, from a fact-based perspective, anyway, individuals who are disabled should be offered special support. Included in that sentiment is the sex worker. I mean, sex work is included all over the place, but especially with this, like with surrogacy and assistance with people and for people who may have been told their whole lives that, well, you can have that desire, but you're not worthy of it, right? Reproductive rights, yeah, we all know that. Access to erotic materials. AASECT believes in the right of all individuals to be free to access media. So that speaks to censorship. I mean, of course, we want the media to be accessed and experienced in an appropriate setting. Comprehensive sexuality education. AASECT recognizes that there is an urgent need for comprehensive education about health made to all people and advocates for social, cultural, political, economic change. AASECT recognizes that valid and helpful education must respect beliefs as well as the cultural and individual practices of the people to whom these efforts are addressed. So I guess if I was going to an evangelical thing and speaking to evangelicals, I would probably not be invited, but also need to be aware. Sexuality healing and the rights of patients and clients. AASECT recognizes the prevalence of sexual practices that are unhealthy and unhappy and acknowledges that many people struggle with distress, disorder, and dysfunction. AASECT believes there is an urgent need for healing practices, that is biopsychosocial or holistic care for therapeutic intervention and for personal growth. Oh, I really want to go into what this biopsychosocial model is. That'll be another video. ASEC further believes in opportunities for sexual healing should be accessible for everybody. And then, I will tell you, it can be a little bit problematic because how many people have access to the ASEC? Okay, do I have another one? American Psychology, AMA. What is the American Statement? I'm looking at the American Medical Association. AMA, oh, that's Australian. AMA adopted policies related to reproductive health care. Oh, look at this, November of 2022, Honolulu. So this says that delegates to the interim meeting of the American Medical Association House of Delegates adopted policies opposing the criminalization of pregnancy loss resulting from medically necessary care and supported expanded access to abortion care. So this is speaking to Dobbs. I'm just like, I can't even. Oregon State. Ooh, here's one. AMA criticized for calling for condoms in schools. Do you remember that? It's a long time ago. Oh, if you provide access, people might go have sex. Guess what? They're doing it anyway. So sexual health, sex positivity, that was the other thing. So according to Oxford Dictionary, sex positive means having or promoting an open, tolerant, and progressive attitude. There is one, it was originally a, this is what happens when I read, and there was originally, I think it's academic. I'm gonna go to, I wanna go to SMSNA. I don't know what that is, but it's a .org. So let's see. This is something. All right, well, let me just read this to you. I clearly didn't do my homework because I was just out walking and I was like, oh yeah, let's look at how people define sex positivity and sexual health. So I guess that this organization, smsna.org, says that sex positivity can be traced back to the 1920s when Sigmund Freud addressed concepts. Oh yeah, he was really positive. And then they say liberation was popularized in the 60s and 70s with the free love movement. Of course, we are all in a colonized context. Today, sex positivity, okay, here we go. Sex without shame, yes. Open communication, yes. Safety, yes. Consent, yes. Education, yes. Also, affirming sex work, affirming that kind of work, affirming any lifestyle, any activity, any consensual engagement between people and objects, I guess, that isn't harming people. All of that is in, even and especially the stuff you don't like. So sex positivity isn't necessarily saying like, I'm sex positive, I'm going to go out and have all the sex because it could. But it's more like, I'm sex positive, that person is enjoying going out and having all the sex. I wonder if I've been kicked off of Facebook yet for saying that word so many times. Yeah. I guess I should look at, no, I think I'm done. I'm gonna zhuzh, do a little bit of practice with y'all later. Thank you for being here for my rambling reading of definitions of sexual health and sex positivity. I hope you have a good day. Now I'm gonna just smoothly say goodbye, smoothly.